Today on an all-new Dr. Phil, she can't cut the cord.
You're living with your mother?
Correct.
She wakes him up in the morning. He's 32.
Or stop covering up for her son.
So this little mama's boy is doing drugs. He's got you working 2 jobs.
Tony is a good kid.
Oh, come on.
He's charming.
You are enabled by everybody around you.
But he's trouble.
It's not her fault that I exploit her. She's exploitable.
Well, I'm telling you, grow up. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
I'll try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
In 5, 4.
I am not giving up on you.
Go, Dr. Phil.
Thank you very much. Well, I want to ask you this question. What would you do with a second chance at life? Yeah, think about that. It's a question this young man faced after staring down the barrel at 45 years in prison for drug trafficking, with the real possibility of dying behind bars from old age. But get this. He was so charming and charismatic that the arresting officer actually pleaded with the judge for leniency. And it worked, because he only served 38 months instead of 45 years. So what did he do with his second chance once he got out? Well, he blew it. Because his family says he is now dangerously addicted to prescription pills and has a gambling addiction on top of the pill addiction, with losses totaling over $100,000. But Tony may not be the only addict in this family, because in fact his mother may well be addicted to him. Well, Tony's sister Andrea definitely agrees and says her mother, and I quote, is literally helping Tony dig his own grave, because she refuses to cut the cord and stop covering up for her only son. Take a look.
My mother is the biggest enabler in the world.
Tony, you want some coffee?
Yeah.
She does everything for Tony. She pays the bills, the mortgage, pays for his truck, pays for his gas. She stocks refrigerators. No matter what he needs, he has. My mom supports him 100%. My mother is 68 years old and she works 2 jobs.
Mom, you're constantly giving him money.
He sucks everything out of her. When he went to jail and got arrested, my mom dipped into her 401k to save my brother. My mom will even wake him up in the morning to go to work.
What time do you stay up in the morning?
7 o'clock.
I'll wake you up.
Why do you have to wake up a 32-year-old? They sell alarm clocks in every retail store on every corner in America. Go buy an alarm clock. We'll get into arguments.
You know that he's high.
I didn't know that.
My mother knows that he is a drug addict, but she turns a blind eye.
He admitted that he had drugs. He admitted that he snorted a blue. Seriously, are you this oblivious?
Yeah, I guess so.
She lies for him. She will make excuses for him. At my uncle's funeral, Tony completely nodded off. And the excuse is, oh, he's just tired. My brother is a junkie. He's a loser.
Are you high?
Or you just ruined it. I was high 5 minutes ago until you started coming here yapping, and I couldn't even enjoy it.
If it was my kid, he'd be patted down every time he walked in the door. One time, I noticed that he was snorting something off of the bathroom counter. So I kicked the door in, hit him in the head. We full-blown went at it. As he's trying to get his drugs, I'm blowing them on the ground as we're fighting, and I'm yelling at him, I cannot believe that snorting drugs in Mom's house. He was bleeding, I was bleeding. It was pretty bad. You got the junkie, you got the enabler, and then you got the bitch sister that's like, what the wrong with both of you 2 idiots?
Well, Linda says all she wants to do is take care of her little boy. Her little boy is like 32. She is adamant that she won't listen to anyone badmouth her baby.
My son Tony is a mama's boy.
I love you, Mom.
Love you too, Tony. I'm gonna take care of him. I'm gonna make his life easier. I love having Tony around. If it weren't for Tony being here, I would be talking to my dog all by myself, waiting for her to answer. I have never seen Tony do drugs in front of me. He may go outside and I'll be inside not knowing any better, but Tony's never done them in front of me. There was a time I found something that looked like a pill and it said Suboxone. He said, well, that really helps me. I gave it back to him. And when Andrea found out, the horns grew on her head.
This is what you call oblivious.
He'd give you a story and you give it back to him. I thought it was helping Tony.
He's online gambling and you give him your credit card and then he admits to being high and you hand him your keys?
She's like a bulldog. And I just like want to put my hands over my ears and say, I don't want to hear anymore. When Tony got arrested, I had no clue that he was selling drugs. And I'm thinking, that can't be Tony. I was ashamed to say my son is in prison, so I didn't tell anybody. I would make excuses. Oh, Tony's working. I can't kick him out. I'm scared that something will happen to him. Where's he gonna eat? Where's he gonna sleep? I don't care what anybody says. He will always be my baby.
What do you want from me?
I want you to help Tony. Tony is a good kid.
Okay, list your priorities for me in terms of what is most important to you in your life right now.
My son gets his life back.
Then what would be second to that?
That he is a happy, prosperous individual.
And what would be third priority in your
That
life?
I do the right thing. That I help him do the right thing.
That you help him do the right thing. Then what would be fourth?
Where do I come in?
You're so...
Hey.
Okay, no, she's...
I'm like fourth or fifth in my kids.
No, I don't think you're even in the top 10, but I'm getting to that.
No, that's not...
Thank you.
There's a plan here. Hold on, I'm getting to you.
That's no.
Zip it, sister, I'm coming. You didn't make the list so far. I asked you your priorities, and you said Tony. You didn't mention you, and you didn't mention her. It was just Tony.
Or her grandkids.
Okay.
Which I thought I was making a very clear case for until sister interrupted me.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
All right, so spit it out. What do you want to say?
That's my point right there. We're not a priority to her. Everything is him. Granted, I love my brother with all of my heart. I love him just as much as she does. But her whole existence is him. I'm put on the back burner. She doesn't take care of me. She takes care of him. But
Who takes care of you?
Myself and my husband, and we take care of our 3 children.
So you stand on your own 2 feet.
Absolutely.
Why doesn't he take care of himself? She takes care of herself. She has a husband and 3 kids. He can't get himself up in the morning.
I don't live at home.
What's wrong with him?
She wakes him up in the morning.
I just make sure he gets to go to bed.
No, I'm on the phone with you, and we'll be talking, and you'll say to me, oh, hold on, Tony, I'm going to bed, good night. What time do you have to be up in the morning?
Right.
He can't wake up himself, he's 32.
He sets his own alarm.
No, that's not okay.
He puts his alarm on, too.
No, he doesn't. If his phone's on, because he can't afford to keep his bill on, so his alarm might work half the month.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is your son a drug addict?
Yes, sir.
Does he have a gambling addiction?
Yes, sir.
Is he lazy?
I don't think he's...
Okay, he's a functioning addict. He works all week long to pay for his own addiction, to pay for his own pills. But anything above and beyond that, she pays for. So...
Is he lazy?
He could do more. I mean, he gets up and he goes to work. He does do some things around the house.
Okay,
but he could do more.
He could do more?
Yes.
What would you say if I told you that I disagree with your priority list? You didn't have yourself on your priority list, but I actually think that you're number 1 on your priority list. Would you like to know why I think that?
Yes.
Because you must be doing what you're doing to make yourself feel better. Because you ain't doing it to make him better.
Nope.
You gotta be doing this to make you feel better. You are an intelligent woman, correct?
I hope so.
Yes.
Well, you are or you aren't. You're either a smart woman or you're not. Okay? You have to know that you are crippling your son. You have to know that you are enabling him, that you are crippling him, that you are helping him stay sick by doing what you're doing. You know that, right?
No.
Are you a ventriloquist? It's like I didn't even see your lips move. And you threw your voice over here.
Yeah, I know. I guess I'm naive to a certain point because I never really knew...
Come on.
Wait,
look,
no.
Come on, listen to me. You have to know that you are not helping your son.
No,
you are allowing him to do drugs in your own home.
I didn't know he was doing drugs in my own home.
Come
I swear
on.
to God,
Come on.
half of the things I didn't know. Wait, let me finish. Let me finish, okay? I learned things yesterday that I didn't know. And I'm thinking, how can I be that dumb?
Okay,
Because
look, are you helping him with what you're doing?
Yes, I am. The last time he took my car without me knowing is when I called up and said, because the refrigerator is stocked so that he can take what he wants to work, and I figure I'm helping him. Let me finish.
She buys him Capri Suns like I buy my 11-year-old son.
No.
Tony needs his Capri Suns. He's 32, but he needs his Capri Suns.
Okay.
And then when he's done drinking them, he throws them under his bed.
Can I finish? That's true.
Okay, did you say...
Yes, sir.
I cannot put him out on the street.
I did.
I won't put him out on the street.
I did.
When she comes up to North and we go out and we look at houses for her to buy, I tell her, why don't you live in a gated community where they'll take care of your lawn, nice little townhouse? No, she needs a 3-bedroom house because where's Tony gonna stay?
Excuse me for a second. I want to talk to your mother.
Okay, but she doesn't get it.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Did you say I love having him around? He's my baby and a mama's boy.
He is. Yes, he is. He is. He's my son, and he's the last born. He's my only son. And yes, he is a mama's boy. But he always has been, even in grade school.
He's not in grade school anymore.
Yeah, I know.
He's not in grade school anymore. He's grown up. He's been to prison.
I know.
And while he was in prison, other things started coming out that he had been doing before he went to prison, right?
The grand thefts.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, there's those 1, 2, 3 grand thefts.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
So this little mama's boy is out robbing people, doing drugs, trafficking drugs. This mama's boy, he's got you working 2 jobs, but he's charming.
Yes, sir.
All right, next, this smooth-talking and charismatic mama's boy, well, he's here. He describes himself, he says, I am a smooth operator. Well, you're going to find out what he did while filming with us that just left me shaking my head. It was so shocking that I just almost didn't believe what I was seeing. Will it be the wake-up call that his mother needs? Well, we're going to find out after the break.
This is the root of the problem. This is an expensive nose. A lot of pills have gone up this nose. Right now we're on our way to a pawn shop that my buddy owns. Obviously, if you're pawning stuff to support your drug habit, you have a problem. I have a Movado watch that my sister bought me. We're gonna go in there, we're gonna get it back. I'd like to get my watch out.
Anthony.
Yes, sir. How you doing today, all right?
All right?
Yeah, I'm all right.
That's going to be $290.
All right, thanks, guys. Hopefully I never see you again. I had to get that out. I got to give it, put it in my mom's safe, get it out of my hands, because I will pawn it next week. It's a vicious, vicious cycle.
Andrea says her brother, who once had such a promising future, is now nothing but a straight-up junkie. When we sent our cameras to interview him, he did something so dangerous I could not believe my eyes.
People call me a smooth operator, a used car salesman. I've been conning people for a while now. I see addiction coming out of me. This is the root of the problem. It's a 30-milligram oxycodone. We're gonna break this into a powdered consistency, and then I find out which nostril works the best, and that's it. It's gone. $30 right there. So sorry, Mom. My mom asked me about my drug use. It's really easy to diffuse a situation because it enables me. I've always liked painkillers. I liked feeling good. At my worst, I would sniff 10 to 12 a day. Sometimes I'll stay up all night doing blow, cocaine, heart's beat. And then you want to come down, so I'll just break up 2 blues, sniff them, go to bed. I've spent over $10,000 on drugs. This is an expensive nose. A lot of pills have gone up this nose. For me to get drugs, which is pretty easy to do, I'll call the guy and he'll tell me where to go. Yo, what's up? Work? All right, be there in 15 minutes. But we're in kind of a bad part of town. I think it's best that we just turn the camera off, because if these people think we're the police, bullets will start flying, man. You know, I don't want to get hurt. It's not worth it. All right, man. Successful mission. I just got 2 more 30s, man. Get me through the night. So I'll do one now. This is my demon. It's such a vicious, disgusting cycle. I don't know why I do it. I need to find out why I do it. So.
Are you a drug addict?
Yes, absolutely.
And are you a gambling addict?
I don't know how to answer that. I don't think so. I guess I can have an addiction problem to gambling.
Mm-hmm. So what are you doing drug-wise?
Mostly painkillers, some cocaine. That's about it. Marijuana.
And you spent 38 months in prison, right?
Right around, yeah.
And you're out now, and you're doing these illegal drugs.
Yes, sir.
What do you think that makes you vulnerable to?
Going right back. But if I go back, the points will be an enhancement. So something that might only give me 38 months will now be 76 months.
He's under double time for the next 5 years.
No, 3 years. But yeah.
It's 5 years.
Prison release reoffender.
You actually hit a homeless woman.
She was crossing the street, and I had run a red light. I thought it was green. And I swerved at the last second with my skills, and I brushed her bicycle.
With your skills.
Skills.
She'd be dead. If I was an old lady or old person driving, she would be dead. Yes, I made a mistake crossing the red light, but I saved her life in a way. That doesn't sound good. But I didn't know it was a red light. I was in the middle lane. There was a car on the right that stopped after the intersection. She walked in front of the car that had stopped. I went through the light, took evasive maneuvering, and
Basic maneuver.
and took her out.
But you saved her life with your skills.
I don't know.
So you ran a red light.
I ran a red light, hit a homeless person with no insurance.
And you were high.
I was actually on the way to a job interview. Yes, I was high at the time.
Okay, you were high and you ran a red light, but because you have skills, you essentially saved her life, and you should be acknowledged for that.
No,
Let's all
sure.
give him a hand for saving this woman's life. That's great. Okay.
Please.
Did she thank you
No, she was upset.
for not killing her?
No, I don't think she felt that
Did
way.
you like your skills?
No, she didn't like my skills. It was bad, man. I mean, I'm trying to make light of the situation. It was definitely not a good situation. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. You're living with your mother?
Correct.
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 32.
32. And you're paying her rent?
I give her money, yes, every once in a while.
Yes, he does.
No, I do give her money every once in a while.
No.
I do. I try
No.
to give her $200 a week.
No, you
Yes,
do not.
yes,
you give her
you do.
Where do you
200,
live?
but you borrow 6. And then you give her
Well,
200 and you
that's
borrow
true.
6 more. And then you give
Well,
her
it's not
50
that
and you
high.
borrow
She doesn't
2
live
more.
there, so she doesn't know.
I don't know half of
she's
it. What I
she's
do
third
know
party.
is enough to know that
You guys
it's
look
bad.
well.
He does pay.
It is bad. It is
But then
bad.
he borrows it back, so it's a wash.
No. Her debt is this high, and you pay her this much.
Yeah.
So it's not going anywhere. She's in debt because of you.
No, I'm in debt to her because of drugs. I should have paid her off with interest tenfold.
But you're net negative with her.
Correct.
Okay. They tell me that you're like amazingly charming. And
Here we go with this.
that people say you're like a smooth operator and all of that.
Great.
And tell me, what am I missing here? Because what I see is a 32-year-old drug addict that has his 60-year-old mother working 2 jobs to finance his habit.
Right. I don't agree with
68-year-old
that.
mother financing his habit.
I don't agree with that.
I don't see how that's charming.
No, it's not charming at all.
I'm missing that.
There's nothing charming about it. I mean,
That looks to me to be immature and exploitive and really psychopathic. And I don't see the charming part of that.
All right, well, let me go ahead and agree with you in a way.
In a way.
But
He has a great personality.
No,
it's just sad that he's stuck in this drug world.
it's a vicious, vicious cycle, man. It's a revolving door that, for some reason, I have not been able to figure it out yet.
All right, let's take a break. Tony says his love for poker and betting on ponies is a business, which he says he has no intention of quitting anytime soon. We're going to find out why after the break. It was just 6 years ago when Tony says the police busted his prescription pill business, landing him in prison for a little over 3 years. Now, Tony says he has a new occupation, as playing cards and betting on the ponies. Now, his sister, Andrea, says Tony is full of you-know-what, and placing bets has just become another addiction.
Yep, here he is. Gambling. You're sitting here high gambling. Not only is he addicted to pills, he's addicted to gambling. He's at the casino every night. He gets sponsors to put him into poker tournaments where they'll pay for him to play, and then he gets a percentage of the winnings. What happens when he wins that big chunk of money is it goes right to the pills.
We're at the casino now. He's got a phone call from my financial backer, so he's ready to go, and hopefully we can win some money. I'd win $400 at the poker game. The drug dealer lives right across the street. I'm going to spend the $400 on drugs, come back to the casino. I might win again. I'm going to go spend that on drugs. There's been times I've taken so much opiates that I'm like nodding at the table and I'm like, raise, you know, my buddy's, hey, you know, so I don't know. I really don't care. I just want to get high. I don't consider poker gambling. I consider slot machines and blackjack and horse racing gambling. The thrill to everything, the excitement, money on the line, this is addictive.
Are you aware of how he's spending his time and what he's doing?
I know he likes to play poker.
And when he was in jail, you told family members that he was just working on the road?
I made excuses, yes.
Yeah, but you kept his commissary account full at all times, right?
Yes, I did.
And you used that to get candy bars that you could use to gamble while you were in jail, right?
Yes.
And my biggest fear with the gambling, I'm more afraid of I'm afraid of the drug addiction as well, but it scares me when he goes and he plays poker. When he does win, it's normally a huge chunk of money, and that scares me because it all goes to dope. And that's when I fear he's going to overdose, because now he has this huge amount of money that he's just snorting up his nose.
Well, let me see what we can agree on. Okay, just factually, let's see what we can agree on. When you were doing a phone interview with our producer, you did a 30 oxycodone during that phone conversation, right?
I guess, I'm sure I did.
Yeah. You did oxy then. And you use blues. You do roxicodone all the time, but you grind them up and then snort them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you do speedballs. You mix the pills with cocaine. Okay.
No, I didn't know that.
You get all this? Okay.
It's a heart attack.
And you drive while you're high.
Correct.
Okay. You've gone into your mom's safe and taken money.
Yes.
You like to say borrowing, not stealing. You've borrowed a lot of items.
Such a strong word.
Yeah.
Stealing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a strong word, isn't it? It's kind of ugly when you take other people's things.
Yeah, it's the truth.
Now, you actually have robbed stores for drug money.
Right.
In
the past.
In the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In charge with it. Those were the grand
Yeah, that's all it
Yeah,
was.
and that's where you had a team that watched the stores.
Yeah.
And then you would go in and rob the store.
Right.
And you knew that, right?
I knew that after I got a phone call of what happened to him.
Yeah, your mama's boy, he had a team that would watch the store, then he would go in and rob the store.
Who thinks of these things?
Well, who's going to just rob a store? At least you're going to have to cover your angles.
Yeah, we know you're really good at it.
Just saying.
Yeah. And you did that for drug money. So you had a team that would stake out the stores and you'd listen to police scanners.
Right.
Yeah.
He listened to police scanners?
Got it. Yeah. If you say,
She's shocked. She didn't know any of this.
If they say the car, you got to get rid of the car. If you know what car you're driving, you got to dump the car.
And so he would take people to the pill doctors and get them to get prescriptions and then go halvesies with them. He'd get half the pills, they'd keep half the pills.
That's
Really?
common. Yeah.
No, I did not know.
He has told me out of his own mouth, with her right there, he has said, I know that I can snort all of my paycheck because come Monday, Mom will give me money. And he's told her, come Monday, if I ask you for money, don't give it to me. Do not give it to me, because it means I snorted all weekend.
He didn't tell me he snorted all weekend. I didn't even know he did
What is he
that.
doing with his paycheck? He lives with you.
Well,
He doesn't have any bills. He has no car payment.
It's
He has
not
no
their.
mortgage
It's
payment.
not their fault. It's my fault.
No, but come Monday, even after you told her, if
Yeah.
you do that, not to me, she'll still give you money.
Well, there's someone else here who is enabling Tony. Actually, it's his attorney. We're going to talk to him after the break. My guest Tony used to be the type of guy that everyone wanted to be around, the type of guy that you hoped your daughter would meet. But now his older sister says he's nothing but a gambling junkie who has ruined their family. With drug trafficking and numerous felony grand theft charges, Tony has his attorney, Brad, on speed dial.
I represented Tony in his drug trafficking charge, and I've become very good friends with Tony, and I give him odd jobs to make some extra money as well. Tony is an individual who's super bright, could have had a very bright future, but at the end of the day, he can't get out of his own way. Tony has taken advantage of me one time because he thought he could get away with it. He came into my house and I noticed my change jar was significantly getting lower. He said that I borrowed some change, and it's Tony. He's got that personality you can't be mad at.
But honestly, I think about that change thing a lot, dude, and I'm sorry I did that, for real.
With Tony, my greatest fear is that I can't help him, that he'll wind up back in prison or worse. The only reason why I'm here is because I hope Dr. Phil can help him.
Yeah,
You know you were home, boy.
Well, you have done a great job keeping him out of some serious time, so...
Too good.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's your job.
Correct.
I mean, and I've known you before today, and you are a hell of an attorney. Everybody knows that. But what's your relationship with him?
Well, I've known Tony since he was probably 17 years old. Tony gets away with stuff because, and he's kind of full of crap up here. Like, you know how serious he is right now? He's generally gregarious. On the way over here, he's saying, "Oh, I'm going to say hi to Dr. Philly." You know, like, I mean...
Philly, baby!
Right. Like, that's
That's his personality.
That's his normal...
So he's being...
This one doesn't let anybody talk. This one...
I'm the only truthful one.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah, you are, but...
So the problem is that Tony has that personality. I think everybody knows somebody like a Tony, hopefully not a drug user, but that with that personality that, you know, you can't stay mad at him. And I compare him to like a Charlie Sheen. Like, Charlie Sheen gets arrested and people are like, it's Charlie Sheen. He's a great guy. He's funny, you know. That's the same thing with Tony.
Let me ask you a question. Kind of hit fast forward with me for a second. What will you say at his funeral?
I really don't know.
Well, think about it. We all know this is where this is going. What will you say at his funeral?
Tony was a good guy that couldn't overcome his demons, and he can't. He doesn't have the skill set to do it. He is a good guy, and that's...
He's not a good guy.
No.
Not now.
He's a punk-ass drug addict, and let me tell you something. You don't have the right to do what you're doing. You don't have the right to go snort drugs and get in a car and drive a 5,000-pound missile on the streets under the influence. You don't have the right to do that. I know. There are people on the street. Come on. Come on. There are people with children on the street. There are families on the street driving up and down the street. And because you've got a nice smile, you do it because you get away with it. You do it because everybody in your life talks about how you have a nice smile and how charming you are. You're not charming to me at all. You are irresponsible, you are immature, and you are putting people's lives in danger.
I agree with you, but that's not the reason I do it. I don't do it because I'm charming. I don't use drugs because I'm charming. That doesn't make sense to me.
You do it because you are immature, you are childish, and you are enabled by everybody around you.
That I agree with.
And there is absolutely nothing charming about it.
I agree with
It
that.
is irresponsible. It is felonious. You do not have the right to do it.
I agree with that.
And somehow or another, you've given yourself this entitlement to do it.
No,
I don't
agree
get
with
that.
I don't
Well,
entitle
based on
myself.
results, you do. Well, you tell me why you do it then. If you don't
that's
think
why I'm
you're
sitting
entitled to do it, why do you do it?
That's why I came to the doctor to find out why
Well,
I do
I'm
it.
telling you, grow up. Yeah. Grow up. You gotta grow up, seriously.
I understand that. Well, you can't just tell an addict to grow up. I mean, every addict would stop using drugs. You just told him to grow up.
Yeah, well, you know, let me tell you something. You gotta decide that you got a job, and you think, well, he's already grown up. Well, actually, sometimes we parent children, sometimes we have to reparent children because you didn't parent this one successfully the first time through. You need to be needed. You want him there for you, and you are willing to cripple him to keep him there.
No, it's not her fault.
You said on video that if you didn't have Tony, you'd be talking to the dogs.
Right,
I mean,
that's true.
I was pretty shocked that you said that.
It's the truth, though.
But if
You
you
want
have
us
to
to
work two
Well,
jobs...
it's not her fault.
No, it's not
Okay,
her
so
fault.
now you're going to protect her. You
Because it's
exploit
not her
her
fault.
every day.
Yeah,
It's
but...
not her
You
fault
exploit
that
her
he's
every
an
day,
addict.
so now you're going to get on your white horse and ride in.
No, I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. It's not her fault that I exploit her. She's exploitable.
All right, let's take a break. When Tony was the subject of a major drug traffic investigation, there was one man who busted him and was responsible for putting him behind bars. We're going to talk to him after the break and find out how he feels about Tony.
My mother is completely codependent on Tony. She doesn't allow herself to have any friends. When my mother comes up, she does want to go house hunting. My husband and I will tell her, well, what about a townhome? Oh, no, I need a 3-bedroom house. Why do you need a 3-bedroom house? Well, where's Tony gonna stay? You shouldn't be worried about finding a bedroom for Tony. He's 32 years old. She's not his wife. It's time that you worry about yourself and Tony go and he spread his wings and fly out of the nest. She has to make sure that wherever she goes, there's a job there, there's a casino there, otherwise she's not leaving. Because her entire existence revolves around him.
We're going to talk about what all this codependency means. It's a word that gets thrown around so much that it's lost its meaning. But before we do, joining us on the phone is Jay. He was Tony's arresting officer in his drug trafficking case. He actually went to bat for Tony during his sentencing. We're not showing Jay's face. He works undercover, so we want to respect that. Jay, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate you being here today, and also I appreciate what you do day to day. Now, it's unusual for an arresting officer to speak on the defendant's behalf, certainly at trial or in the sentencing phase of a trial. Why did you choose to do so here?
It's a good question. At the time, following the arrest, Tony's arrest, after interviewing him, I saw that it appeared that he was a good guy, came from a good family. It appeared that he got caught up in addiction, clearly, and he needed a second chance. And with consultation with his attorney, Brad, and spoke to at his request, I spoke to his sister and his mother. And collectively, we came up with an idea that maybe he does need a second chance. So at the sentencing, with Brad being there too, I spoke on Tony's behalf.
When he gets back in the system and given his current behavior pattern, it's just a matter of time until he does. This could go really badly for him, don't you think?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I was listening since the beginning of the show. I've been on listening, and I'm shocked to the things I've been hearing too, as I'm sure his mother is.
Because second chances can be kind of sweet poison, right? It's kind of like putting somebody on probation. Yeah, it's great that you walk on probation, but it's sweet poison because if you get out there and stumble again, it gets really bad really quick because due process is really truncated in that situation.
Yes, sir.
What do you want to say to Tony at this point, Jay?
I really feel that if this is the time, he needs to go forward. He's getting older. His family is definitely taking a hit on this. And I'm optimistic for him, but cautiously optimistic.
Hey, Jason.
It really depends on what he does from this point forward. Because I believe there comes a point in everybody's life where you come to a precipice. You come to a point where all things wrong can be made right, where you can do things that change the course of events. And there are people who recognize those opportunities and seize them. And then there are those who just simply don't get it. I hope this is one of those moments that everybody here has a serious wake-up call. And it begins with you.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL. I hope this is one of those moments that everybody here has a serious wake-up call, and it begins with you. We talked about codependency, and just grade your own paper here in terms of codependency. Look at this. This is a definition of codependency. Feelings and actions of another person affect you. The other person here is Tony, affect a person, in this case it's you, to the point of losing control of your own life. It's one-sided, emotionally destructive, abusive verbally or physically. So you lose yourself. It's one-sided. This is how you know. Number one, excessive caretaking. They wake them up in the morning. They take care of them when they're 32 years of age. Low self-esteem. They have a need to be needed. You only feel important as it relates to him.
She's entitled to get her own life. She needs to let him go. She needs to have friends and get her own
How
life.
are you on those two?
It's right on.
Check,
Yeah.
check. Okay? Denial.
Yeah.
Codependents are in denial. They ignore, minimize, or rationalize problems in their relationship. How you doing on that one?
Doing pretty good.
Fear of anger, afraid of both your own and your loved one's anger because you're afraid it'll destroy the relationship. You can't say anything to him because he might go away and then you're talking to your dog. And then health problems, stress, headaches, ulcers, asthma, high blood pressure. It starts to bleed you.
True.
And then addictive behavior. Sometimes codependents, they get addictive behavior of their own, trying to cope with it all. So I don't know. Grade your own paper.
Failed.
You think?
No, she didn't fail. I failed her.
Yeah, noble, but you failed. You failed. This is on you. You're the adult here. He is the child. And he is behaving in a very childlike fashion. Your job as a parent, all of your jobs as parents, is to prepare your child for the next level of life. It's not to be liked by them. It's to prepare them for the next level of life. So where does Tony go from here? Does he go home and continue to slowly kill himself and anybody that gets in his way and wastes the second chance? I'm going to tell you what I think he needs to do when we come back. Closed captioning provided by
Gold Bond Rough and Bumpy Skin Therapy. Used daily, it exfoliates, smooths, softens. Reduces bumps 72%. Gold Bond Ultimate Lotion, Ultimate Skin.
From snorting crust prescription pills and snorting while driving to spending almost every day gambling in casinos, at racetracks, or online, Tony's family is worried that his dangerous addictions will eventually kill him or land him back in prison. Now, you got to get cleaned up, and I'm going to tell you, you have, in my opinion, a lot going on here. I think you have a personality disorder at a minimum. I think you have not developed a moral compass where you have the judgment to make good decisions. But I don't know how impaired that is because you're not sober. So who knows? I think you need to go to a serious intensive treatment program for both drug rehabilitation, but I think it has to be a sophisticated dual diagnosis treatment program that works on the psychological impairments that have coexisted with this. And I am prepared, as our gift to your family, to make that available to you. I am prepared to send you to the Origins Recovery Center, which I think is the best in the country. It's a dual diagnosis treatment center that will deal with all of that. And it's on South Padre Island in Texas, which is a beautiful setting and highly remote. And there is no point in him doing this if you don't get yourself worked out. So I want to send you somewhere as well. I want to send you to a place that I have great confidence in Tennessee. It's called the On-Site program. It is a beautiful ranch outside of Nashville, Tennessee. It is a worldwide leader in therapeutic intensive workshops and treatment. It specializes, no, look at me, it specializes in all types of emotional trauma and mental health issues. Particularly, it deals with codependency and can help you get yourself where you understand how to deal with this young man if and when he ever comes back into your life once he gets out of there. I want you to go there and get your head straightened out as far as your relationship with him. If you do not do that, I am not willing to send him where he's going.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. Now, let me tell you why I'm saying that. Because there's no point. If I send him and get him all worked up and then send him right back into your broken world, you will sabotage him the minute he gets back. Will you take this leap of faith?
Yes.
Deal? Deal?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Deal? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're the spark that made this happen.
Thank you.
All right, I want to thank all of my guests today, and a very special thanks to Miles Adcox and Onsite for helping this woman who so deserves this. She so deserves this. I also want to thank Ben Levinson and the Orange Recovery Center for offering help for Tony. We'll see you next time. So long. Thanks, guys.